This is the argument I've had with people like Sam Harris, the atheist types. It's like, yeah, you think you're atheist, man. It's like, you're Christian, Judeo-Christian, let's say, to the core. You just don't understand it. You just don't realize it.
This is the argument I have with people like Jordan Peterson, the capitalist types. It's like, yeah, you think you're capitalist, man. Like, you're socialist, social Marxist, let's say, to the core. You just don't understand it. You don't realize it.
You can't be a non-believer in your action, you see, because Harris's metaphysics is fundamentally Christian. So he acts out a Christian metaphysics, but he says, well, I don't believe it. It's like, well, yeah, you do, because you're acting it out. You just say you don't believe it.
You can't be an unbeliever in your action, you see, because Peterson's meta-economics is fundamentally Marxist. So he acts out of Marxist meta-economics, but says, well, I don't believe it. Well, yeah, you do, because you're acting it out. You just say you don't believe it. Now, you might be thinking, just where are you going with this, Steve? Or you might know exactly where I'm going. In any case, grab yourself a big cup of metaphorical substrate and join me in this 40-hour video as I explain the dominance hierarchy of bees and the relevance of Dostoevsky's The Idiot. This is Jordan Peterson is a Marxist, he just doesn't realise it. Over the last 6 months or so, I've made a fair few videos in which I've criticised Jordan Peterson's Christian apologetics, and I believe I've done so respectfully, and hopefully so too do you. Now, my typical approach has been to tackle his assertions head on, but in this case, I'm going to do so obliquely, because I think it might be a better way of exposing the problem with his rhetoric. You see, as I've made clear many times before, most of Jordan's philosophical and religious assertions are not flawed in and of themselves, but what is flawed is how he uses them, and I'll do my best to explain exactly why in just a moment. First, however, I've got some good news. Many of you have asked me to create a merchant store, and finally I have. And so now there's another way to support the channel and to look like a sexy god or goddess while doing so. Simply click on the design you want, choose the clothing type you desire, and wear it like a boss. Anyhow, back to Jordan being a Marxist. Over his time, Jordan has criticised Marxism considerably, calling it false and dangerous.
And then when the Marxists say, well, that wasn't real Marxism, what it really means, and I've thought about this for a long time, it's the most arrogant possible statement anyone could ever make. It means, if I would have been in Stalin's position, I would have ushered in the damn utopia instead of the genocidal massacres, because I understand the doctrine of Marxism and everything about me is good. It's like, well, think again, sunshine. You don't understand it. You don't understand it. And you're not that good.
And likewise, Sam has criticised Christianity considerably, calling it false and dangerous.
Any God who would allow children by the millions to suffer and die in this way, and their parents to grieve in this way, either can do nothing to help them, or doesn't care to. He is therefore either impotent or evil.
And yet, Jordan has, on multiple occasions, asserted that Sam is a Christian.
You're Christian, Judeo-Christian, let's say, to the core.
But why? I mean, Christianity is the assertion that a literal conscious being intentionally created the universe, literally impregnated a virgin, and that the literal Son of God literally resurrected after 3 literal days, isn't it? And Sam certainly doesn't believe this.
So while there may be lots of topics that we could debate on within Christianity, I believe that these 5 beliefs that I'm going to discuss in this video remain the 5 essential beliefs of Christianity. Essential belief number 1 is to believe in the bodily resurrection of Jesus Christ.
A true Christian is a person who has put faith and trust in the person and work of Jesus Christ, including his death on the cross as payment for sins and his resurrection on the 3rd day.
Christianity is a relationship based upon the merits of Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for our sins, rose again from the grave, and he invites you to know him personally.
But this isn't the case for Jordan. Jordan doesn't literally believe any of the aforementioned, or anything literally, it seems. As I made clear in my video titled Jordan Peterson is not a Christian, Jordan's Christianity radically differs from any major denomination. When he calls Sam a Christian, all he's saying is that Sam is a responsible and empathetic person.
If I lay out the rationale for the Christian ethic, which is something like pick up your damn cross and struggle uphill, which is a really good message, they think, oh yeah, well that makes a lot of sense. It's like, well, I don't need the metaphysical baggage. It's like, well, maybe you do and maybe you don't. You watch the people around you who thrive, regardless of what they say, they act out the proposition that everyone matters. and then you have a functional society.
Now, some critics listening will be screaming, "You just don't get it, Steve. Jordan's right. You say you're not a Christian, but you
Pick up your damn cross and struggle uphill.
and you
Act out the proposition that everyone matters.
But in reply, I say yes. I am, like Sam, a responsible and vicarious person, but that doesn't make me a Christian. It makes me human, and perhaps a good human, depending on what we mean by good. We are an evolved social species, and as such, nature has selected for us to care about our reputation and loved ones. This, combined with the education that everyone, and not just our tribe, are alike, gets us the notion that everyone matters. Being responsible and empathetic are characteristics of social species, and that's why these values are found in just about every culture, and not just the Judeo-Christian ones. Now sure, many functional and extremely successful cultures do not, and did not, believe that everyone matters, such as ancient Rome and, funny enough, medieval Christianity, who both relished in slavery. But the notion that our kin matters existed long before we were human, and the question has always been, who is our kin? Anyhow, how, then, do I justify calling Jordan a Marxist? Well, you need to take a sophisticated, metaphorical view of the incredibly complex Communist Manifesto and treat each segment as if it's influenced by the end. It's a narrative, you see, and must be read in such a way.
You have to read the beginning as if it's also influenced by the end.
The Marxist fundamentalists, with their literal reading, insist that Marxism is a system of socialism in which the dominant feature is the public ownership of the means of production, distribution, and exchange. But more sophisticated Marxists will tell you that Marxism is the observation that all economic prosperity is predicated on social interaction, and that everyone, regardless of their social status, has inherent worth. Without the proletariat, the bourgeoisie doesn't exist. You see, Jordan values capitalist economics, and he says that he's not a Marxist, but capitalism can't function without social interaction, and so he is a Marxist, a social Marxist, let's say, to the core, because he acts it out. He just doesn't realise it. Are you annoyed? Do you think that I'm being disingenuous? Well, if you do, know that it's just because you're not being very sophisticated. Marxism is extremely complex because I made it so. Why? Now that's a good question.
What kind of question is that?
To wrap up, why have I made this video, and why have I differed from my typical style? In a nutshell, it's because I want to illustrate how damn ridiculous and damn disingenuous Jordan is when he calls Sam and other atheists Christian, let alone religious. Don't get me wrong, under the rubric of Jordan's dictionary, Sam is a Christian, and we can put aside the fact that this makes it needlessly difficult to criticise real Christianity. But under the rubric of the dictionary I just made up, according to a sophisticated and nuanced interpretation of Marxism, Jordan is a Marxist. Look, whether you like Jordan or not, and I do, believe it or not, you've got to stop giving him infinite get-out-of-jail-free cards. Some of what he says is bollocks, and damn dangerous bollocks at that. Anyhow, I'm Steve Woodford, also known as Rationality Rules, and as always, thank you kindly for the view, and an extra special thank you to my wonderful patrons and those of you who have donated via PayPal. You are, as always, awesome. Oh, and be sure to check out the store. If there's any designs you'd like me to add, or any feedback at all, I'm all ears.